गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड्स। आप सबों का बहुत बहुत अभिनंदन वंस अगेन। इस चैनल पर हम लोग बात करेंगे बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण सीरीज प्रश्नों की एक बेहतरीन श्रृंखला पॉलिटी सेक्शन से होगा। और हम लोग अंतिम पड़ाव है पॉलिटी के, तो बने रहिए इस चैनल में, देखते रहिए, सीखते रहिए, क्योंकि वो तुम्हें भड़काने की कोशिश करेंगे पर तुम अपने पढ़ाई में लगे रहना। बुलाती है मगर जाने को नहीं, तो जाना कहाँ? अपने लक्ष्य की ओर। ऑल द बेस्ट। पहला प्रश्न है आपकी स्क्रीन पर है, विद द रेफरेंस टू द नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी एनडीएमए कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट। प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज द एक्स ऑफिशियो चेयरमैन ऑफ एनडीएमए. एनडीएमए works under the administrative control of the Union Ministry of Earth Science. NDMA recommends guidelines for the minimum standard of relief to be provided to persons affected by disaster. Okay, I think you know one is absolutely correct, two is absolutely incorrect, only three is right. So one and three is right. Let's discuss about NDMA. National Disaster Management Authority is the apex body for the disaster management in country. It works under the administrative control of Union Ministry of Home Affairs. Union Ministry of Home Affairs. The NDMA was established with this vision to build a safer, disaster resilient India by a holistic, proactive, technology driven, and sustainable development strategy that involves all the stakeholders and foster a culture of prevention, preparedness, and mitigation. NDMA consists of a chairperson and other members, not exceeding nine. Not exceeding nine. The Prime Minister is the ex officio of the chairman of NDMA. Prime Minister is the ex officio of the chairman of the NDMA. The other members are nominated by the chairperson, I mean Prime Minister, by the Prime Minister, nominated person or nominated person of by the Prime Minister. The chairperson of NDMA designates one of the members as the vice chairperson of NDMA. The vice chairperson has the status of a cabinet minister, while other members have the status of minister of state. What are the rules? What are the functions of the NDMA? It recommends guidelines for the minimum standard of relief to be provided to the person affected by disaster. It recommends in cases of disaster of severe magnitude, relief in repayment of loans or grant fresh loans on concessional terms to the person affected by such disaster. It exercises the general superintendent's direction and control of the National Disaster Response Fund. This force has been constituted for the purpose of the specialist response to the threatening disaster situation or disaster. It authorizes the concerned department or authority to make or emergency procurement of provisions or materials for rescue or relief in threatening disaster situation or disaster. In such case, the standard procedure requiring inviting of tenders is deemed to be waived. It prepares an annual report on its activities and it submits it to the central government. The central government causes it to be laid before the houses of the parliament. Consider the following statement. Tribunals under the Article 323A can be established both by the Parliament and a state legislature with respect to matters falling within their legislative competence. Article 323B provides for the establishment of tribunals for the public service matter only. Both statements are flip, so D is right. The original constitution didn't contain any provisions with respect to tribunals, and 42nd Amendment Act of 1976 added a new part 14A to the Constitution. This part is entitled as Tribunals and consists of only two articles. Article 323A dealing with administrative tribunals and Article 323B dealing with the tribunals for others matter. Article 320A and Article 320B differ in following three aspects. While Article 323A contemplates establishment of the tribunals for public service matter only, contemplate establishment of tribunals for public service matter only, while Article 323b contemplates establishment of tribunals for certain other matters. While tribunals under the Article 323a can be established only by the Parliament, tribunals under the Article 323b can be established both by the Parliament and the state legislature with respect to the matters falling within their legislative competence. Under Article 323A, only one tribunals for the center and one for each state or two or more states may be established. Article 323A, only one tribunal for the center and one for each state or two or more states may be established. There is no question of hierarchy of tribunals, whereas Article 323B as a hierarchy of tribunals may be created. Which of the following institution has been constituted to actualize the goal of the cooperative federalism and to enable good governance in India? It's a Niti Aayog, a Central Vigilance Commission, Election Commission, Lok Ayukt. Yes, of course, it's a C. How can you say? Niti Aayog answer will be the Niti Aayog has been constituted to actualize the important goal of the cooperative federalism and to enable good governance in India, to build a strong state that will make a strong nation. In truly federal state, several objects, tips, several objectives that ought to be achieved may carry political ramification throughout the country. It's impossible for any federal government to achieve the national objective without active cooperation from the state government. It is therefore crucial that the center and the state governance work together as equals. The two key features or aspects of cooperative federalism are joint focus on national development agenda by the center and states, the advocacy of state perspective with central ministers and ministries. In keeping with this, the Niti Aayog has been mandated the task of evolving a shared vision of national development priorities, sectors, and strategy with the active involvement of the states. These priorities ought to reflect the national objective and foster the cooperative federalism through structure support to state on a continuous basis. Niti Aayog ought also to help states develop mechanisms to formulate credible plans at the village level and aggregate this progressively at the higher levels of government. The aim is to progress from a stage when the center decided development policy to a truly federal government wherein the states are equal stockholders in the planning process. Consider the following statement. Part 20 of the Constitution of India provides for temporary, transitional, and special provision for some state. As per the Article 371A, the Parliament cannot intervene in the on the ownership and the transfer of land and its resources in Assam without the concurrence of the Legislative Assembly of the state. No, so both statements are incorrect. Part 21. Part 21 of the Constitution of India is a compilation. It's a compilation of laws. Part 21 of the Constitution of India is a compilation of laws pertaining to the continuation of the India as a country and the union of the state that is made of. This part of the Constitution consists of articles on temporary, transitional, special provisions, temporary, transitional, and special provisions for some states. Part 21 defines special provision with regard to the other states of the Union. Article 371A of the Indian Constitution makes special provisions for the state of Nagaland. The acts of the Parliament relating to the following matters would not apply to the Nagaland unless the state assembly decides so. The religious or social practices of Nagas, Naga customary law and procedure, administrative or civil or criminal justice involving decision according to the Naga customary law, and ownership and transfer of land and its resources. The governor has to ensure that the money provided by the central government or for any specific purpose is included in the demand for a grant relating to that purpose, not in any other demand moved in the state legislative assembly. The article provides that the governor of the Nagaland shall have special responsibility for law and order in the state as long as internal disturbances caused by hostile Nagas continue. In the discharge of this responsibility, the governor, after consulting the Council of Ministers, exercises individual judgment and his decision is final. Article 371F of the Indian Constitution provides for the special provisions with respect to the state of, say, Sikkim. 36th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975 made Sikkim a full-fledged state of Indian Union. It included a new Article 371F containing special provisions with respect to Sikkim. There are as follows. The Sikkim Legislative Assembly is to consist of not less than 30 members. One seat is allotted to Sikkim in Lok Sabha and Sikkim forms one parliamentary constituency. For the purpose of the protecting the rights and the interest of the different sections of the Sikkim population, the parliament is empowered to provide for the number of seats in the Sikkim Legislative Assembly, which may filed by candidates belonging to such section, and delimitation of assembly constituency from which candidates belonging to such section alone may stand for election to assembly. The governor shall have a special responsibility for peace and for equitable arrangements for ensuring the social and economic advancement of a different section of the Sikkim population. In the discharge of this responsibility, the governor shall act in his discretion subject to the directions issued by the president. The president can extend with restriction or modification to Sikkim any law which is in force in a state of the Indian Union. Consider the following statements. Article 371G provides the Mizoram Legislative Assembly is to consist of not less than 20 members. Article 371H provides that the Arunachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly is to consist of not less than 30 members. Which of the above statement is are correct? I think it's only and only B. 371G specifies the following provisions for Mizoram. The acts of the parliament relating to the following matters would not apply to the Mizoram unless the state legislative assembly so decide. Religious or social practices of Mijos, Mizo customary law and procedure, administrative of civil and criminal justice involving decision according to Mizo customary law, ownership and transfer of land. The Mizoram Legislative Assembly is to consist of not less than 40 members. Article 371H. The following special provisions are made for Arunachal Pradesh. The governor of Arunachal Pradesh shall have a special responsibility for law and order in the state. In the discharge of the responsibility, the governor, after consulting the Council of Ministers, exercises his individual judgment and decision is final. The special responsibility of the governor siege when the president so directs. Arunachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly Arunachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly is to consist of not less than 30 members. Consider the following statements. Part 8 of the Indian Constitution deal with the union territories. An administrator of a union territory is an agent of the president, not the head of state. An administration of a union territory is an agent of the president, not the head of state. The parliament can make laws on any subject of the three lists, including the state list, for the all union territories, which are the correct. Only and only 1 and 2 and 3 सबके सब सही है. Article 239 to 241 in Part 8 of the Constitution deal with the Union territories. Even though all the Union territories belong to one category, there is no uniformity in the administrative system. Every Union territory is administered by the President acting through an administrator appointed by him. Administrator of a union territory is an agent of the president and not head of the state like a governor. The president can specify the designation of administrator. It may be lieutenant governor, chief commissioner, administrator. At present, it is lieutenant governor in the case of Delhi, Puducherry, Andaman Nicobar Island, Jammu and Kashmir, and Ladakh. Administrator in case of Chandigarh, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Daman Diu, Lakshadweep. The president can also appoint the governor of the state as the administrator of adjoining union territory. In that capacity, the governor is to act independently of his council of ministers. The parliament can make laws on any subject of the three lists, including the state list for the union territories. This power of the parliament also extends to the Puducherry, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, which have their one local legislature. This means that the legislative power of the parliament for the union territories on the subject of the state list remain unaffected even after establishing a local legislature for them. Consider the following statement. Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir can make law on any subject of the state list except public order, police, and land. The President can make a regulation for peace, progress, good government of Union Territory of Puducherry only when the Assembly is suspended or dissolved. Both the statements are only and only two is correct. The Legislative Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir can make laws on any subject of the state list except public order and police and concurrent list. The President can make a regulation for the peace, progress, good government of Union Territory of Puducherry only when the Assembly is suspended or dissolved. A regulation made by the President has the same force and effect as an act of Parliament and can also repeal or amend any act of the Parliament in relation to these Union territories. Consider the following statement. Union Territory of Delhi and Puducherry have their one High Court. Andaman and Nicobar Island are placed under the jurisdiction of Madras High Court. Only and only both the statements are incorrect. Parliament can establish a High Court for any Union territory or put it under the jurisdiction of the High Court of adjacent state. Delhi is a High Court of its own since 1966. The Bombay High Court has got jurisdiction over Union Territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman or Diu. Andaman and Nicobar Island, Chandigarh, Lakshadweep, Puducherry are placed under the Kolkata, Punjab and Haryana, Kerala and Madras High Court respectively. That means Andaman and Nicobar are placed put into Kolkata. Chandigarh is Punjab. Lakshadweep, Punjab and Haryana are Chandigarh. Lakshadweep in Kerala or Puducherry in Madras. Jammu and Kashmir High Court is a common high court for the two union territories of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. According to the Article 230, brought in through the Amendment Act, said that the Parliament may by law extend the jurisdiction of a High Court to or exclude the jurisdiction of a High Court from any union territory. This power regards to the union territory was made exclusive to the center by including its entity 79 in Union list under the 7th schedule of the Constitution. On the other hand, the amendment through the Article 241 gave Parliament the powers to constitute a High Court for a Union territory or declare any court in such territory to be a High Court. Such a High Court established in a Union territory has the same constitutional status as that of a High Court in a state. Which of the following constitutional provisions provides for the administration for certain areas designated as a scheduled area and scheduled tribes? It's a fifth schedule. And it's a part 2 and 3. Part 10. Article 244 in Part 10 of the Constitution envisages a special system of administration for the certain areas designated as scheduled areas and tribal areas. The fifth schedule of the Constitution deals with the administration and the control of the scheduled areas and scheduled tribes in any state except the four states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. The sixth schedule of the Constitution, on the other hand, deals with the administration of tribal areas in the four northeastern states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. With reference to the fifth schedule of the Indian Constitution, consider the following statement. The President can declare an area to be a scheduled area in consultation with the Governor of the state concerned. According to the fifth schedule of the Constitution, a tribal advisory council can only be established in the state having scheduled areas. Only and only A is right. Various features of the administration contained in the fifth schedule as are follow. The president is empowered to declare an area to be a scheduled area. He can also increase or decrease its area, alter its boundary line, rescind, rescind such as a designation or make fresh order for such redesignation on area in the consultation with the governor of the state concerned. Each state having scheduled area has to establish a tribal advisory council on the welfare and the advancement of the scheduled tribes. It is to consist of 20 members, three-fourths of whom are to be the representative of the scheduled tribes in the state legislative assembly. A similar council can also be established in a state having scheduled tribes but not scheduled areas therein, if the president so directs. The executive power of the state extends to the scheduled areas therein, but the governor has a special responsibility regarding such areas. He has to submit a report to the presiding regarding the administration of such areas annually or whenever so required by the President. The executive power of the center extend to give the direction to the states regarding the administration of such areas. The governor is empowered to direct that any particular act of the parliament or the state legislature does not apply to a scheduled area or apply with specified modification and exception. He can also make a regulation for the peace and good government of the scheduled area after consulting the tribal advisory council. Such regulation may prohibit or restrict the transfer of land by among members of the scheduled tribes, regulate the allotment of land to the members of the scheduled tribes, and regulate the business of money lending in the relation to the scheduled tribes. With references to the sixth schedule of the Constitution of India, consider the following statement. Tribal areas in the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram fall outside the executive authority of the state concerned. The President is empowered to constitute the tribal areas in the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram as autonomous district. Each autonomous district has the district council consists of 30 members, of whom 4 are nominated by the governor and 26 are elected by the basis of adult franchise, which are the correct. Of course, 3 is the right absolutely. Constitution under the sixth schedule contains a special provision for the administration of tribal areas in the four northeastern states Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. The tribal areas in the four states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram have been constituted as an autonomous district, but they do not fall outside the executive authority of the state concerned. The governor is empowered to organize, reorganize the autonomous districts, thus he can increase or decrease their areas or change their names or define their boundaries and so on. If there are different tribes in an autonomous district, the governor can divide the district into several autonomous regions. Each autonomous district has a district council consisting of 30 members, of whom 4 are nominated by the governor and 26 remaining elected on the basis of the adult franchise. The elected members hold office for the term of 5 years unless the council is dissolved earlier, and nominated members hold office during the pleasure of the governor. Consider the following statements. 68 Constitutional Amendment Act 1991 provided a special status to the Union Territory of Delhi. The strength of the Council of the Minister in the Union Territory of Delhi is fixed at 20% of the total strength of the Assembly. Both are incorrect. 69th Constitutional Amendment Act 1991 provided a special status to the Union Territory of Delhi and redesignated it the National Capital Territory of Delhi (NCT) as a designator to the administrator of Delhi as a lieutenant governor, and designated the administrator of Delhi as a lieutenant governor. It created a legislative assembly, a council of ministers for Delhi. Previously, Delhi had a metropolitan council, and executive council. The strength of the assembly is fixed at 70 members, directly elected by the people. The elections are conducted by the Election Commission of India. The assembly can make law on the all matters of the state list and concurrent list except three matters of the state list, that is public order, police, and land. But the laws of the parliament prevail over those made by the assembly. The strength of the council of ministers is fixed at 10% of the total strength of the assembly, that is 7, one chief minister and 6 other ministers. The chief minister is appointed by the president, not by the governor. The other ministers are appointed by the president on the advice of the chief minister. The minister hold office during the pleasure of the president. The council of ministers is collectively responsible to the assembly. Which of the following is are the recommendation given by the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee regarding the Panchayati Raj institution? Balwant Rai Mehta Committee. Direct election of representative of the village panchayat, panchayat samiti, Jila Parishad. Panchayat Samiti should an executive body. Jila Parishad should be an advisory and supervisory body rather than an executive body. I think 2 and 3. In 1957, it's not Government of India appointed a committee examining the working the community development program 1952 and the National Extension Service 1953 to suggest the measures for their better working. The chairman committee was Balwant Rai Mehta. The committee submitted its reports 1957 that recommend the establishment of the scheme of a democratic decentralization, which ultimately came to be known as a Panchayati Raj. The specific recommendation made by it are establishment of a three-tier Panchayati Raj system, Gram Panchayat at the village level, Panchayat Samiti at the block level, Jila Parishad at the district level. These tiers should be organically linked through a device of indirect election. Village Panchayat should be constituted with directly elected representative, whereas the Panchayat Samiti and Jila Parishad should be constituted with indirectly elected members. All planning and development activities should be entrusted to these bodies. The Panchayat Samiti should be the executive body, while the Jila Parishad should be the advisory, coordinating, and supervisory body. The district collector should be the chairman of the Jila Parishad. There should be a genuine transfer of power and responsibility to this democratic body. Adequate resources should be transferred to these bodies enable them to discharge their function and fulfill their responsibilities. A system should be evolved to effect further devolution of the authority in future. These recommendations of this committee were accepted by the National Development Council in January 1958. The council did not insist on a single rigid pattern and left it to the states to evolve their own patterns suitable to the local condition. But the basic principle and the broad fundamentals should be identical throughout the country. Rajasthan was the first state to establish the Panchayati Raj. Consider the following statement. Article 243O of the Indian Constitution deals with the 29 functional items of panchayats. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 has given the practical shape to Article 44 of the Constitution. Absolutely incorrect. Both are the correct. Both are the incorrect. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 added a new Part 9 to the Constitution of India. This part is entitled the Panchayats and consists of the provisions from Article 243 to 243O. In addition, the Act has also added a new 11th schedule to the Constitution. This schedule contains 29 functional items of the Panchayat. It deals with Article 243G. The Act has given practical shape to Article 40 of the Constitution, which says that the state shall take steps to organize village panchayat and endow them with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as a unit of self-government. These articles form a part of the TPSP. This act, the act gives a constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj institution. It has brought them under the purview of the justiciable part of the Constitution. In other words, the state government are under the constitutional obligation to adopt the new Panchayati Raj system in accordance with the provisions of the Act. Consequently, neither the formation of panchayat nor the holding of the election at regular intervals depends on the will of the state government anymore. With the reference to the features of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, consider the following statements. A person shall be disqualified for being a member of the panchayat if he is less than 25 years of age. All the members of the panchayat at the village, intermediate, and district levels shall be elected directly by the people. No. Both are incorrect. Which are correct? Only B. B are correct. As per the provisions in the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, a person shall be disqualified for being a chosen as for or being a member of the panchayat if he is disqualified under any law for a time being in the force of the purpose of the election to the legislature of the state concerned or under any law made by the state legislature. However, no person shall be disqualified on the ground that he is less than 25 years of age or if he is attained the age of 25 years, 21 years. Further, all question of disqualification shall be referred to such authority as the state legislature determine. As per the provisions of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, all the members of the panchayat at the village, intermediate, and district level shall be elected directly by the people. Further, the chairperson of the panchayat at the intermediate, the district levels shall be elected indirectly by and from among us, the elected members. Therefore, however, the chairperson of the panchayat at the village level shall be elected in such a manner the state legislature determine. The chairperson of the panchayat and the other members of the panchayat elected directly or indirectly shall have the right to vote in the meeting of the panchayat. As per the 11th schedule of the Indian Constitution, as per the 11th schedule of the Indian Constitution, which of the following items are placed within the purview of panchayat? Family welfare, libraries, higher vocational education, public distribution system. How can you say is the public distribution system is a part of? Only 1, 2, and 4 is right, but higher education is not a part of. 11th schedule. It contains the following 29 functional items placed within the purview of the panchayat. Let's see one by one. Agriculture, including agriculture extension, land improvement, implementation of land reforms, land consolidation, soil conservation, minor irrigation, water arrangement, watershed development, animal husbandry, dairying, poultry, fishery, social forestry, and farm forestry, minor forest produce, small scale industries, including food processing industry, khadi, village, cotton industry, rural housing, drinking water, fuel fodder, roads, cul- culverts, bridges, ferries, waterways, and other means of the communication, rural electrification, including distribution of electricity, non-conventional energy resources, poverty alleviation program, education, including the primary, secondary school, technical training, vocational education, adult and non-formal education, libraries, culture activities, market and fairs, health and sanitation, including hospitals, primary health centers, dispensaries, family welfare, women and child development, social welfare, including the welfare of the handicapped and the mentally retarded, welfare of the Waker section and in particular of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, the public distribution system, maintenance of the community assets. Which of the following is a compulsory provision of 23rd, 73rd, not 23rd, 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 of the Constitution? Compulsory provisions. Reservation of one-third seat for women in Panchayat at the all three levels of Panchayat Raj. Reservation of seats for backward classes in Panchayat at the three levels of Panchayati Raj, granting power and authority to the Panchayat to enable them to function as a institutional as a self-government. Second one is absolutely incorrect, so you got the answer only and only one is right. The provisions of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 can be grouped into two categories: compulsory and voluntary. The compulsory, that means mandatory, that means obligatory provisions of the Act have to be included in the state laws creating a new Panchayati Raj system. The voluntary provisions, on the other hand, may be included at the discretion of the states. Thus, the voluntary provisions of the Act ensure the right of the states to take local factors like geographical, political, administrative, and others into the consideration while adopting the new Panchayati Raj system. Compulsory provisions: organization of Gram Sabha in a village or a group of village, establishment of the panchayat at the village, establishment of panchayat at the village, intermediate and district level, direct election to the all seats in panchayat at the village, intermediate and district levels, indirect election to the post of the chairperson of the panchayat at the intermediate and district level, voting rights of the chairperson and other members of panchayat elected or directly indirectly, voting rights of the chairperson and the other members panchayat elected directly or indirectly. 21 years to be the minimum age for contesting the election to panchayats. Reservation of seats both members and chairpersons for SCs and STs in panchayat at the all three levels. Reservation of one-third seat both members and chairperson for women in panchayat at the all three levels. Fixed tenure of 5 years for panchayat at all levels and holding fresh election within the 6 months in the event of the suppression of any panchayat. Establishment of state election commission for conducting election to the panchayats. Constitution of state finance commission after every 5 years to review the financial position of the panchayats. But there are some voluntary provisions endowing the Gram Sabha with the powers and the function at the village level, endowing the Gram Sabha with powers and the function at the village level, determining the manner of the election of the chairperson of the village panchayat, giving the representation to the chairperson of the village panchayat in the intermediate panchayat, or in the case of asset a state not having intermediate panchayat in the district panchayat, giving representation to the chairperson of the intermediate panchayat in the district panchayat, giving representation to the members of the parliament, both the house, the state legislature, both the house in the panchayat at different levels, falling within their constituencies, providing reservation of seats both members and chairperson for backward classes in panchayat at any level, granting powers and authority to the panchayats to enable them to function as an institution of self-government, in brief, making them autonomous bodies, devolution of powers and responsibility to panchayat to prepare plans for the economic development, social justice, and to perform some if not all of the 29 functions listed in the 11th schedule of the constitution, granting financial powers to the panchayat, that is authorizing them to levy, collect, and appropriate taxes, duties, tolls, fees, assigning to the panchayat taxes, duties, tolls, and fees levied and collected by the state government, making the grants in aid to panchayat are as from the consolidated fund of the state, providing for constitution funds for creating all monies of the panchayat. Consider the following statement. Comptroller and Auditor General of India make provisions with respect to maintenance of accounts by the panchayat and the auditing of such accounts. The State Election Commissioner is appointed by the President of India for the superintendence, direction, control, conduct of all election to the panchayat. Both are incorrect. Audit of account of panchayat. The state legislature may make provisions with respect to the maintenance of accounts by the panchayat and auditing of such accounts. The State Election Commission. The superintendence, direction, and control of the preparation of electoral rolls and the conduct of the all election to the panchayat shall be vested in the State Election Commission. It consists of a State Election Commission to be appointed by the governor His condition of service and tenure of office shall also be determined by the governor. He shall not remove from the office except in the manner and on the grounds prescribed for the removal of the judges of the state high court. His condition of service shall not be varied to his disadvantage after his appointment. The state legislature may make provisions with respect to the all matters relating to the election or to the panchayats. With the reference to the features of the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, consider the following statements. The Act provides for reservation of not less than one third of the total numbers of seats for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in every municipality. In the case of dissolution, fresh election to constitute a municipality should be completed before the expiry of a period of 6 months from the date of its dissolution. Yes, only two is right. 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 added a new Part 9A, to the Constitution of India. This part is entitled as a municipalities and consists of the provisions for Article 243P to 243ZG. In addition, the Act has also added a new 12th schedule to the Constitution. This schedule contains 18 functional items of municipalities. It deals with Article 243W. The Act gave the constitutional status to the municipalities. It has brought them under the purview of the judicial part of the Constitution. In other words, the state governments are under the constitutional obligation to adopt a new system of municipalities in accordance with the provisions of the Act. The reservation of seats. The Act provides for the reservation of seats for the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes in every municipality in proportion of their population to the total population in the municipal area. Further, it provides for the reservation of not less than one third of the total numbers of the seats for women, including the number of seats reserved for women belonging to SC/ST. The state legislature may provide for the manner of the reservation of the officer or the chairperson in the municipalities for STs, and women. The state legislature may provide for the manner of the reservation of the offices of the chairperson and municipalities for SCs, STs, and women. It may also make any provisions for the reservation of the seats in any municipality or offices of the chairperson in municipalities in favor of the backward classes. Duration of municipalities. The Act provides for 5-year term of office for the every municipality. However, it can be dissolved before the completion of this term. Further, the fresh election to constitute a municipality shall be completed before expiry of its duration of the 5 years, or in the case of dissolution, before the expiry of a period of 6 months from the date of its dissolution. But where the remainder of the period for which the dissolved municipality would have continued is less than 6 months, it shall not be necessary to hold any election for constituting the new municipality for such period. Moreover, a municipality constituted upon the dissolution of a municipality before the expiration of its duration shall continue only for the remainder of the period for which the dissolved municipality would have continued had it not been so dissolved. In other words, the municipality reconstituted after premature dissolution does not enjoy the full period of the 5 years but remain in office only for the remainder of the period. The Act also makes two more provisions with respect to the dissolution. A municipality must be given a reasonable opportunity of being heard before its dissolution. No amendment of any law for the time being in force shall cause dissolution of any municipality before the expiry of the 5 years term. Consider the following statement. Part 18 of the Indian Constitution deals with the official language. The Committee of the Parliament of the Official Language comprises 20 from Rajya Sabha and 10 from Lok Sabha, which are correct. I think you know about that. Only and only D is the right answer because both the statements are incorrect. Part 17 of the Constitution. Part 17 of the Constitution deal with the official language in Article 343 to 351. It provides a provisions. Its provisions are divided into four heads: language of the Union, regional language, language of the judiciary, and text of laws and special directives. The Official Language Act 1963 provided for the setting of a committee of the Parliament on official language to review the progress made in the use of Hindi for the official purpose of the Union. Under the Official Language Act, this committee was to be constituted after the every 10 years for the promulgation of this act 1965. Accordingly, the committee was set up in 1967. 1976, this committee comprises 30 members of the parliament, 20 from Lok Sabha and 10 from Rajya Sabha. The committee reviews the progress made in the use of Hindi for the official purposes of the Union and submit a report to the President making recommendation thereon, and the President shall cause the report to be laid before the House, each House of the Parliament, and send it to the state, all state government. Which of the following have been given the status of classical language? Is a Sanskrit, Odia, remain nothing, only two and three. In 2004, the government of India decided to create a new category of language called classical language. In 2004, new category of language called classical language. So far, the six language are granted the classical language status: Tamil, Sanskrit, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Odia. Once a language is declared classical, it gets financial assistance for the setting of a center of excellence for the study of that language, and also opens up an avenue for the two major awards for the scholars of the eminence. Besides, the University Grant Commission can be requested to create, to begin with, at least in a central universities, a certain number of professionals chair for classical language for the scholars of eminence in the language. Which of the following language are specified in the 8th schedule of Indian Constitution? It's a Dogri, it's a Nepali, it's a Dongri and Nepali, एक और दो, and one and two. 8th schedule of the Constitution specifies 22 language. Obviously 14 language. Originally there are only 14 language, but now it's a 22. These are Assami, Bengali, Bodo, Dogri, Dongri, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkani, Maithili, Malayalam, Manipuri, Marathi, Nepali, Odia, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Santhali, Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu, and Urdu. Sindhi was added 21st Amendment Act 1967. Konkani, Manipuri, and Nepali were added 71st Constitution Amendment Act 1992. Bodo, Dongri, Maithili, and Santhali were added by 92 Second Amendment Act 2003. In the terms of the Constitution provisions, there are two objectives behind the specification of the above regional language in the 8th schedule. The members of these languages are to be given representation in the official language commission, and second, the form, the style, the expression of these languages are to be used for the enrichment of the Hindi language. तुम्हें वो बहकाने की कोशिश करेंगे पर तुम अपनी पढ़ाई में लगे रहना. शॉर्ट में कहें तो तुम्हारा मन तुम्हें बोलेगा छोड़ो आज रहने दो, that's enough. No, you have to be say your mind. Nothing is hard. You have to be keep your revision. and revision. Then you will realize, yes, I'm in very good position. Otherwise, you feel always depression, something lack. So don't be in such position where you think, "Arey, kya kiya?" No, no. If you do your work properly, regularly, consistently, you will feel good, happy. If you want to happy in yourself, don't and do anything. Just do your work with very practical, very knowledgeable, very sincerely. Okay, all the best.